What's good everyone, Shurit here, bringing you another episode of my Ban This Freedom series. Today the card we're going to be discussing is Super Polymerization, and I'll give my reasoning as for why I believe this card can come back to 1. So if you don't know what Super Polymerization does, it is a quick play spell and it says discard 1 card, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from either side of the field as fusion materials. Cards and effects can be activated in response to this card's activation. So obviously it's an extremely powerful card that lets you fusion summon using your opponent's monsters, plus they can't respond. So this card got banned because I think it was at 3 at the beginning of Shadow, when Shadow first came out, and then it got limited and then it got banned. I think something like that happened, but this card did get hit because of Shadows. Because Shadows just needed attribute monsters to summon their fusions, which made them such a good deck. But the reason why I think Super Poly can come back is because I believe that it's hard to draw. It is searchable. I'll come on to that in a minute. It's hard to draw, so it's hard to get into your hand in the first place. Its effect is strong, but it's not really broken, and it's only good in a certain amount, certain types of decks. So the first thing I said was that it's hard to draw. Obviously, if we put it back at 1, if Konami were to put it back at 1, then it would be hard to draw because you only have 1 copy in your deck. So like it's just like if you only played 1 Speedroid Terratop, because that has got limited just on the last list. It's going to be hard to draw it. It's like when you play these brick cards like Gem Knight Garnet in your 40 card deck, you have just the same amount of chances drawing your Super Polymerization as you do your Gem Knight Garnet. And if you're playing a fusion deck, you generally probably want to play Brilliant Fusion to get your extra normal summons and to put stuff in the graveyard. For example, like this card would be good in Predator Plants, and I have tried to put Brilliant Fusion in Predator Plants. That's a good example. So and even though this card is searchable off Predator Plant, Darling Tony, or Cobra, even if you search this card, once you searched it off Darling Tony or Cobra, this is my issue with it. You have to discard a card with Orphe Scorpio, so you have to open up Scorpio plus a card to discard. So that's 2 cards, and then you have to special summon your Cobra and search Super Poly. So there's your plus off that. So you've got so far you opened up your 6 cards and you're going second, because if you're searching Super Poly, you're probably going to go second. So you open up with so far that's 2 cards out your hand. Scorpio plus the discard, and then for Super Poly you have to discard another card as well. So that's using up 3 cards in your hand, and then you're only left with the other 3 in your hand. So that's not as good, whereas cards like Brilliant Fusion actually let you plus. Super Poly can cause you to kind of minus, and even though you can potentially get rid of your opponent's monster, Super Poly isn't really that strong because, as I said at the beginning, it's only good in a certain amount of decks. The only decks I can think of that can use this card to the full potential is Invoked, Shadow, and Predator Plant. Now, even though you can splash this card into some random decks, I don't think that's really viable. The Super Poly can be a potential brick card going first, and it's only good in decks like Invoked, Shadow, and Predator Plant, because they fusion summon using attributes, and that's what makes Super Poly good. It's good for fusion summoning using attributes, and then the only time it's ever else good is in a fusion summoning mirror match, and that's not really that common. So with Super Polymerization, I definitely think it can come back to 1, because it only works in fusion decks that use attributes to summon. Even though your opponent can't respond to it, summoning 1 fusion monster isn't as broken as summoning cards like Masterpiece and doing the zoo combos and using Grassix Greener to mill 500 cards to the graveyard. Plus, even though it can't be responded to, the only card that could respond to this card was Solemn Warning. And Solemn Warning. So like Solemn Warning is also a limited card, so the odds on your opponent having that are very slim. So this no card and effect can't be activated in response to this card's activation. To negate it, it's only Solemn Warning. Yes, they can chain other cards to try and get rid of their own monsters, but that was kind of a disadvantage for them as well. So for example, if you use Super Poly to fuse their Dryden, I think Dryden's Earth, with your Alistair to summon the Invoked Magin Lancia, something like that, the Earth one that has 3000 attack and 300 defense, they could use their Dryden to pop their own Dryden, but that's not really as, like, all they would be doing then is preventing fusion summoning, getting rid of their Dryden. Either way their Dryden's going. So Super Poly's cards and effects cannot be activated in response isn't really that relevant. So even though it's a good card, one, it has a pretty discarding 1 card is a Jet is a pretty hefty cost, considering there's cards like Instant Fusion and Brilliant Fusion that let you plus. So it's not the best fusion spell ever. It's a very good fusion spell, but it's not broken anymore. It was broken back in Shadow format because of what it could do for the deck, and because Shadows were one of the best decks. But in this day and age of Yu-Gi-Oh, I use this argument so many times. Cards like this are kind of outdated. I wouldn't put it back to 3, as then it would see amazing play and it would make decks like Invoked really good, because it would be able to you'd be able to consistently get to it. But at 1, I think it won't be doing much. It'd be a nice card for people to have back. I'm sure people will try and splash it into decks. People try to make combos with this card. It's just overall a good card to have. For Link format, it'd be a good card. You can get rid of your opponent's monsters, fusion summoning them. In my opinion, Super Poly is a good card, but it's not broken in this day and age. So thanks for watching. This has been my Balance Freedom and why I think Super Polymerization should come back. If you don't agree, or if you agree, please post your comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. This has been Shurit. Peace.